Hello, I'm speaking to you on Saturday evening, the 4th of April. It's the Memoria of Saint Isidore of Seville, a great Spanish bishop from the 7th century. And as many of you know, I spent many years in Spain. I started my formation in seminary in Spain in 1978, and altogether I lived there for 13 years, so it's my second home. And whenever I approach Holy Week, my thoughts always return to Spain, for reasons I'll explain in a moment. Tomorrow we celebrate Palm Sunday. We will listen to the triumphant entrance of Christ into Jerusalem, and spiritually we will accompany him ourselves. Because of the present circumstances, you're all deprived of participating directly in the sacred liturgies of the coming week. And we are going to feel it all the more during these days as compared to the days that have already passed through the lockdown we're experiencing. If, of course, you were here tomorrow, you would receive one of these palm crosses, which here tomorrow will be blessed by Archbishop George. We would receive them and process from Talbot Street here in Canton, or if you're at Holy Family, from our car park there, and if you're listening to this anywhere else, outside your own churches, you would undertake a procession to the church to enact the Lord's glorious entry into Jerusalem. Be assured that having blessed these crosses tomorrow, we will keep them and distribute them to our own parishioners here at St. Mary of the Angels and at Holy Family, whenever that becomes possible. Let me link now the distribution of these crosses to what is beside me here, this rather larger palm. In Spain, in Valladolid, in the heart of Castile, that's the city where I lived for many years. In that city we celebrate great processions. The proclamation of faith is literally on the streets during Holy Week. Every single day there are major processions, and on Palm Sunday, outside the church of Veracruz, the True Cross, thousands upon thousands of school children would carry these size palms, shaking them vigorously as the Cardinal Archbishop addresses them from the balcony of the Veracruz church. I have that image in my mind on Palm Sunday, wherever I've celebrated it in this country. It reminds me of that day when Christ entered Jerusalem, what it must have looked like. We must make do with our smaller palm branches, but they represent the taking down of the branches from the trees, and the people using whatever they could to acclaim Jesus as the Son of David. And although we are deprived of the sensory experience of being together in the sacred liturgy, let us, wherever we may be, truly participate in the liturgy as much as we possibly can. I've got in front of me here a booklet describing Holy Week at Valladolid. You'll be able to see in detail this photograph from the booklet. It's an image of one of the pasos, the processional carriages carrying statues that are used throughout Holy Week. This is within the college chapel, and it gives you an idea of the scale and the intimacy that these statues provide for the people as they are celebrating the mysteries of Holy Week. In the city there's the National Museum of Polychromatic Art. We need to use art even at home. If you have some books you might call upon and look at some of the artwork, religious artwork of Holy Week. If you have any at home, use them for meditation. Above all, of course, we must use the scriptures. But I refer to another great Spanish saint I mentioned today, being the commemoration of Saint Isidore of Seville. Think of the teaching of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Society of Jesus. He asks his followers, he asks us all, to employ our imagination in our prayer. Let us do so particularly during this week, particularly given the circumstances that we inhabit, when we are deprived of being together, deprived of those great symbols that are employed during Holy Week. Let us imagine ourselves with Christ, imagine ourselves within the liturgy as it unfolds, even though you stand at a distance and are only able to access it through the webcam. But let us stand united and let us, at least figuratively, hold our palms aloft and give the acclamation tomorrow that Jesus is indeed the Son of David and so much more. And as each day of Holy Week unfolds, let us imaginatively place ourselves at the heart of the mystery. I'm just going to end by using the great quotation from the first letter of St. Peter. For to this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, so that you should follow in his steps. He committed no sin, and no deceit was found in his mouth. When he was abused, he did not return abuse. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but he entrusted himself to the one who judges justly. He himself bore our sins in his body on the cross, so that, free from sins, we might live for righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed. Let us reflect well on the scriptures in the coming day, and let us fully employ our imagination so that we gain as close a contact with the symbols of faith that are employed in the sacred liturgy over the coming days, and place ourselves as closely as we possibly can to Christ himself. God bless you.